Hi, let's have a look at this Microsoft Power Automate community thread. So here there are a couple of values coming from MS form, and one is the holiday start date, and remember the date is in DD-MM-yyy format, and the same for the holiday end date. And then there is a set of values, it's kind of an array, but there is double quotes inside that as well. So I will explain that when we're going to build the flow then. So that's a set of values also there. So what here the user asking here is, using the above info, I would like to convert into an HTML table on email with dates to indicate it's a holiday like below. So that means, the start date is 20th of February 2023, and it goes on till 4th of March 2023. So you can see like that's where it should go all the way up to. Yeah. And oh, I think there is a small issue here, I think. So it says here 0403. So that is 4th of March actually. So 1, 2, 3. This is not quite right. I think it might be a user entry, the error it is. So it should be 3/3/2023, and then the next value also there it should be then. So I think then here it's missing also that, I believe, because if we look the 20th, that's a Monday, and then it comes up to 2nd of March. Let me go to the March then. So March 2nd is Thursday. That's good. Then that's Friday. Yep, that's right. That's Friday. So that's the one it's missing here. That should be 3/3. And also the 4th, the one it's a Saturday also. So I think this is not quite right. And what I will do is I will extend this also then. There is a small mistake there, I think. Anyway, so let me show you how to build this flow and convert this into an HTML table then. Okay. Okay, so for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to use the manual trigger here, and then I'm going to add a compose here, and under the compose I'm going to get the first date here, which is a holiday start date. So I'm going to copy this. So that's the format we are getting, and that's a holiday start date. So I'm going to rename this to start date. It's good practice to rename the steps always. It's more readability you'll get. Right. So the first thing we need to do here is, this format is quite difficult to work with. So ideally, if you want to increment the days to the next day to 21, 22, we need to use an expression called add days. So for that, it is expecting the date in a proper date format. Even though this is a date, but for the date operations, ideally it should be in a yyyy-MM-dd format, or MM-dd-yyyy format. So I'm going to convert this into the standard yyyy-MM format then. Okay. So for that, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another compose. I'm going to warn you, we are going to add quite a lot of combos here. Okay, and then I'm going to say here split. That's a split expression I'm going to do here, like split start date. Okay. So what the split expression going to do here is, I'm going to split the days, months, and the year. So for that, I'm going to type split here, and under the expression, place your cursor inside the both brackets, click on the dynamic content and select the start date, comma, and use the slash. Okay, so remember the slash is the character I'm going to split. So let's so this is all about is convert form submission values to HTML table. That's what this demo is about. Okay. Okay, so let's run this flow and I'll show you what the split is going to do here. Right. So see, that's an array now. So now that's index is 0, this index is 1, and this index is 2 now. So using that, what I could do next is I'm going to convert that, into the yyyy-MM-dd format. And again, another compose I'm going to do. Right, okay. And let's rename this to start date yyyy-mm-dd. All right, okay. Right. Okay, for this, what we want to do here is, ideally what I want to do here is, I want to use an expression again. So the expression I'm going to use here is, I'm going to put that in the add a note, put that here. So that's my expression I'm going to use. So here, I'm just going to paste that. I'll explain what it is now, what the expression is. So the expression is format the date time, and formatting with the, see the last one, yyyy-MM-dd, then concatenating the previous index, because it's an array now after the split. So index of 2, that's 2 is the one, I shown you earlier, that's a yyyy year. Then the month, that's the first index. Then the second last index, and the very first index is the date. Okay, so let me run this flow and show you what's going to happen here. Here we go, the date, we got that in the yyyy-MM-dd format. Okay, so that's the first thing we did. We need to replicate the same steps for the end date, which is this. So I'm going to copy this, the end date, and again adding the compose, and rename this to end date. I'll also copy this under the add note. It's a good practice to copy that, so at least we know what the expression we use there. Right, and next is exactly the same thing again. I'm going to add another compose again and rename that to split end date. Copy that earlier expression and change that to end date. See the previous output, that this is the end date we want here. Because there's a space there, we need to put end underscore date. Remember that, that's the standard we need to use in Power Automate. Right, okay, so that's there now. So that's going to split that into that format. And again, I'm going to rename this. Let's copy this clipboard, and then it might be a bit more easier. Then the copy clipboard there, and then from the mic clipboard, I can just copy that. Here we go, I got that. All I need then is rename that to end date. Okay, and this expression is not good because that's that other expression it is. So here we need to change all these values. So I'm going to copy this, remove that, because it's got difficult to edit there. I generally takes in a notepad that and paste here, and change the Control H, the start to end. That's all we need. Replace all. Okay, here we go. We got all that expression correctly then. Now I can go back here, click on the expression, paste that, click OK, that's done. And again, I think that's not quite right here. Just rename that to here. Okay, so end date in that format also now. So we got everything we want here. And again, one more thing I forgot to do here is add a note. So there we go, that's the right note now. Okay, for the end date. So all we're doing here is concatenating the previous the split expression, which gives the array. So using the array index, we can reorder the date. That's all it is. Okay, so let's run this flow and see what we are going to get. Right, so the date, that's that format, and date is in the new format now. Okay, so now we are in more control of doing the date manipulations using the expressions using Power Automate. Okay, so that's done. Okay, what's next? Next, I'm going to add the weekdays. So adding another compose. Yep, so this is the weekdays. Remember, there is a small mistake here. I'm going to correct that also. So what I did here is I got I corrected that earlier. So this is what ideally we want here. So it's missed one value here, I believe. So this should be 2 Saturday, I think. Yeah, that should be that. So I'm going to copy that. So that's the weekdays. That's a holiday days, I believe. That's what it means. One. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to copy exactly as it is, and rename this to weekdays or something. Yeah. Okay, weekdays. Excellent. And then copy that. Okay. Now, I don't know what format this is going to get it back. If it's an array, then use that as an array. Because of the double quotes, I was struggling to convert that into an array. So I'm trying to manipulate a little bit here to clean up that. If it is directly coming as an array, you don't need to do. You can skip this step. So I need this extra step here. Okay. So I'm going to add another compose here. And then rename this to cleanup weekdays. Okay, so what that cleanup going to do is I'm going to use another expression. I'll just use that. I'll just copy it here and show you that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that weekdays, removing the square brackets and the double quotes. So the plan is we should end up having so we should be once we remove that using this expression, we'll remove it will be having something like this. It will remove all the double quotes. So it should be something like this then. I'm not going to clean up all the other ones. So that's what we expect. So then I can easily use the split to get that into another array then. Okay. So so for that again, using the expression, copying that expression, click OK that. Oh, sorry. Wrong expression, I copied. Here we go, that's what we want. Yeah. And then again under the note, okay, I'm going to put all the expressions under my video description. Okay, so that's that. So that going to clean up that, and then what I could do now is I did the split also. So let me show you what's that going to do. There we go. So that's an array now. So we can easily iterate now that, So that's the reason I did it using that technique. Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is optional based on if you directly get that as an array from another object, use that directly, So here, I need to use this extra step. Then the next step I'm going to do here is I need to declare 2 variables here. Okay. So I'm going to do variable and initialize variable. One I'm going to call it as start date, and that's a string I want. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to set that yyymm, the start date yyymm-dd format. Okay, that's one we want. So search for the output always, and then look down and get the right mapping. Okay, so the start date. Here we go. That's one I want. Here it is. Okay, that I initialize the start date. The next thing what I'm going to do is initializing another variable. So again variable and initialize variable, and I'm going to call this as collect results. All right, and this is the array. Okay, this is an array. I'll tell you why I want this later on. Okay. So these 2 variables, I'm going to use it in the below steps. So you will understand it, why I needed that. Let me save this. So next thing is, remember I shown you earlier the cleanup weekdays using the split. That's an array. So I'm going to iterate this cleanup weekdays now. So for that, I'm going to click on the control, select the apply to each. Okay. Select, now the output is the cleanup weekdays. That's the output here. All right. And then what the next step is adding another compose. Okay. I could avoid a couple of other steps into one. I don't know how it will be helpful. users might think it's quite complicated, so I'm adding, you know, small steps so that it's easy to understand. That's all it is. You can of course you know, use couple of expressions in one step itself. Okay, so next step I'm going to rename here. This is called each item from that weekdays. Okay, that's one. For that, getting the first item, I'm going to use item here, item. Okay, so let me run this flow and show you what that's going to look like. Right, okay, so let's see. So here, say I got 13 values there. So inside that I got 1 dot Monday, second 1 dot Tuesday, like that. So these are the values I'm getting now. Each and every values there like that. Okay, but from there we want, remember, see in the HTML table, what ideally we want is the date, then the day, that is Monday or Tuesday, then indicate holiday as HHH, and if it's Saturday, Sunday, we need to make it blank. Okay, that's the aim here. So to do that, the first thing we need to look here is, okay, we got the date. That's now, you know, we can easily put the date. I'll show you that. The next thing, you know, this is 1.mon it is. So, but ideally we want mon only there, and also that should be caps. So for that, so remember, this is 1 dot Tuesday, 1 dot Monday, like that. So next step, I'm going to add another combos. And rename that calling day then. Okay, so for that, again, I am, you know, using another expression here. So the expression I'm going to use here is, I'm going to split that with the dot and take in the last index. That's all it is. Okay, so let me add the not. Okay, so use two expressions there. Split, first splitting using the separator as dot, then that will be two values, because it's you know, the values are like 1.mon. so if I'm splitting with dot, the first index is 1 and second index is mon. So I'm using the last index, so I will get mon here. But again, I forgot that I need to use the u uppercase here. I think it's called ToUpper. Yeah, that's what we want. So that will be caps case now. So again, see, this is expressions within expression I'm using. Okay, so let's run this flow and I'll show you the result. Here it is, capital MON, next TUE, so and so. Okay, all the way up to 13 there. Right, so we got the day now. The next is we need to specify whether it's indicating as holiday or not, isn't it? Yeah, so it's HHH only for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday and Sunday we want to make it blank. So again, we are going to use an expression here. So add another combos. I warned you earlier, like you know, we are going to add too many combos here. Right, rename that to indicate holiday. Right, and the expression we are going to use here is the if expression. So if expression with and a couple of not expression also. I'll explain that. So that's what I'm going to do here. So let me add that in the not again. I forgot this in the not again earlier, so let me edit the not. Here we go, to upper that. Yeah, okay, so this expression is, let me copy that here. Okay, so the expression I'm going to use here is not that. Here it is. So you can see here it's a little bit complicated, so I'll explain it. So first thing I'm doing here is if, and I got and here because there are two values here, like Saturdays or Sundays. Yeah, so I need to look and not equal to Saturday and not equal to Sunday. Then you know, if it is true, then it's H, otherwise it's blank. That's all it is, you know. So once you start doing more Power Automate, you will understand the expressions are not that bad as you think. Initially it might be a little bit daunting, but don't be scared about it. Yeah, right. that's if, and that's the expression. Okay, now if I do you want me to run it? Yeah, okay, I'm going to run it now. Yeah, let's see the result. Right, let's see then. So day Monday, it should be H. Here we go. So click on next. Tuesday, it should be H. That's right. Then Wednesday should be H. Thursday H. Friday, next it should be blank. So here we go. Saturday. Oh, that's not quite right, is it? No, that's not right. Let me type that. Oh, I think it's a refresh issue here. I think my screen is not refreshing fast, I think. Let me have a look at that again. That expression again here. Ah, okay. I know what it is. I know what it is. The output of the day, because it's converted into capital, that's why it's not it's not happening. So let me copy this, remove that, remove this expression again. It should be caps. Remember, it's case sensitive when we compare the strings in Power Automate. Right. Okay, so go back to the expression, paste that, add note. There we go. That should work now, hopefully. All right. Okay, so Monday H, second Tuesday H, Wednesday holiday H, Thursday H, Friday H, Saturday blank, and Sunday should be blank, and the next one again Monday should be H. Here we go, and so. Okay, so that's good news. We are nearly there. The next thing we need to do here is we need to get that into the HTML format. So adding another compose. I'm going to rename again this to format each results. Okay. Okay, now put two curly brackets. This is the format we want to convert that into the HTML table. Okay, and then date. And for the date, we need to use that start date. We assigned that the variable, remember that we got the initialize variable here, and that's first value here, the start date we want. Okay, then later on we are going to change it from the below step onwards. I'll show you that. So here, it's converting that, that into format variable start date into the yyyy format. So let me go back here and add a note here again. This is one of the expressions we used here. Then put comma because it's a JSON format. Then we want the day, colon, and day we got the output here. So let's go back and find the day output. That's one I want. Then the next is the indicate holiday. So indicate holiday, and that's indicate holiday. Here we go. Okay, now we got the start date. We want to increment the date now. That's the next challenge. But before that, these results every time dynamically it's going to get changed during the apply to each life cycle. Okay, so for that, that's the reason I introduced this collect results array variable. So all I'm going to do here is append array, and then select the collect results and get the format of the each results of the output. Okay, that's that. The next thing we need to use here is increment the date now. Okay, so for that, again adding another compose, and add another compose, rename that to next date. So remember, after 20th we want 21st, then 22nd, so for that, another expression again, So that's the expression we need, and explain that in a minute. Here it is. So the expression I'm going to use here is this: add days, the variable that start date, comma 1 means increment by 1 in this format, yyyy-MM-dd. We already have that format already, so it's easily going to increment one at a time. Once that done, the next important step is we need to set the variable. So again, we need to type set variable. Then select the start date and reset the value to the new next date, so that when it comes to the next the cycle here, it's going to take the right value than here, especially where is it in the format date time. It's going to take the next date using this. So let me go back. Next date, that's what we want. Right, I think we are done now here nearly. So that's our apply to each. That's the big steps there. Next thing, once this loop is executed, we collected all the values in an array. Then remember this step here, append to array variable. Yeah, so you could rename this to collect all results for HTML table. That's what we want here. Right, now outside the loop, I'm going to minimize the apply to each. Okay, outside the apply to each, I'm going to use convert HTML to text. Sorry, that's the step we want. So, oh no that's not the step we want. What we want here is let me have a look. Right, we want create HTML table. That's what we want. So here we can specify now it expects as an array then from, and that is the the collect that full results, collect results. So we got everything here, and the column name is automatic. That means the format we used here for that collect all that format each results. So this is the heading it's going to use, date, day, and indicate holiday. It's automatically is going to use that. And the final step is send email. I'm going to use Office 365 connector here and use send an email. Okay, specify my address, and then here sample form HTML results. Then under the body, I'm going to map the output of the create HTML table. Okay, let's run this and see what we are going to get. Right, looks like flow ran successfully, and you can see there's a table here. Under the create HTML table, you can see see that's someone I sent that as an email now. So it's gone up to 4th of March. I think there was a typo here, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's a typo here. Then let me show my email also. Here it is. See that? So date, day, and indicate holiday. So if I go back here it is. Let's compare then. So 2023 Monday H, 21 all the way up to 28 H, then 1-3 Wednesday H, 2-3 that's H, and then the other one was a typo, so it should be 4th of this one. The third one, 3rd March, it should be that Friday. Then 4th of March 2023 Saturday, that's blank also. See, those are blanks as well. It's not holiday. Then all are HHH. We use that we use couple of expressions here to get that. Yeah, the if not expression, that's what this H indicates, from that output. Yeah, and yeah, like I mentioned, I'm going to put all these in my flow description, the video description. All the expressions I'll put, and hopefully this is a useful video. Thank you for watching.